Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This is the United Stand. This is your countdown to kick-off. This is where we build up all our hopes and dreams, and hopefully at the end of the day we have made the FA Cup semi-final. We are playing Coventry. We've got loads on the show today. We will have Beth live from Wembley giving her thoughts. Hopefully the team news will obviously break. We'll bring that to you. But I am very happy to say that I am joined with Mordzs. Man like Mordzs, how are we doing?
No, I'm good. When we were speaking before, literally coming up the elevator, and you made a point about, like, at the start, it was kind of like, when we first found out we drew Coventry, everyone was like cheering. We were all here together. And it was like, yes, Coventry. We got just a draw we wanted out of everyone, yes. And then now it's like, wow, Coventry. Okay, like, who's playing for Coventry? What's the striker like? What's the wingers like? Especially because of, obviously, we'll talk about the team news later, but yeah, I feel like I'm still optimistic. End of the day, I'm a United fan. I want United to win. I always think United are going to win, even though we probably shouldn't win some games. But I am going to be honest, I'm a bit nervous. I'm a little bit nervous. FA Cup, you know, everyone loves a good story. Everyone loves a good fairy tale. And this is kind of like the perfect fairy tale for Coventry right now. I'm nervous. I don't mind sharing that with you, because we spoke and we were like, yeah, this is the draw we wanted, because we managed to avoid that other side of the draw, which could have potentially been Chelsea or Manchester City. Yeah. So what do you put it down to? Is it a nervousness just because it's an FA Cup final, or is it because we know this team can kind of let you down? Definitely a range of both of them. First of all, FA Cup, it's a big game. We've spoken so many times on the show about how, you know, the past, I'd say, 5 to 10 games for Ten Hag has been a final. Every single game is a final for him. It's a final. You have to win. And, you know, the past few games, I think since the Brentford game probably, it's like, even though they've been big games for Ten Hag, the team hasn't performed. And we've all been thinking, well, if this is how the team's going to be performing when they have to win. A lot of these games we've had to win. Chelsea, we've had to win. Liverpool, I wouldn't say we've had to win, but put in a good performance at least. Brentford, you know, we win in the last minute and we gave up the game. So it's like, if they're not putting in those performances then, what are they going to do now? Is there going to be some kind of switch? Is it going to be like, okay, now that we're in the FA Cup, now that we're in Wembley and we're in front of all these people, we're going to have to play well? I don't know. I don't have that confidence in the team anymore. So that's kind of where the nervousness comes from.
It's a momentum thing, isn't it? I think if we were going into this game and we'd won 3 on the bounce, you kind of look at it and think, yeah, cool, we take something into this game. I mentioned the fact that you don't know what you're going to get from this set of players, but one thing 100%, Manchester United need to be at the races today.
100%.
Don't we?
I think, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't, probably same as a lot of United fans, I've not watched Coventry this season. I'll put my hands up, I'm not watching the season. But what I've heard from them is...
I'm the same, but the golfing class, really. I don't want to be arrogant and City, you know, and say we're Manchester United, but you know, there is a huge golfing class. There's a reason one is a Premier League team, you know, the other is a Championship team. Yeah. And really, you know, you sit back and you think, we should be winning this. Famous last words, honestly, don't quote me on this, because later on comes the fan forum if we have not made the final. But obviously, we know who that team could possibly be. The route. And I think watching Chelsea and City yesterday, you know, you kind of look at it. I was kind of rooting for Chelsea because I thought we might have a chance again if we make the final, but it does set up a potential Manchester, you know, derby. You know, we had it last season.
Back-to-back derbies. I'll be honest. Back-to-back derbies. First of all, that's crazy for Manchester. Anyone who's from Manchester is probably thinking, "Wow, like we actually, as a collective, are doing well." But they City win it twice, 2 years in a row. It's kind of like it's just another stab in the back. It's like, wow, like we've taken, you know, got this far 2 years in a row. Everybody knows finals is genuinely what you want. Anyway, any team would want to go to an FA Cup final. It's the biggest English competition. You want that regardless. But to lose twice to your local rivals, I'd rather lose twice to anybody else. Honestly, any other team in England, I wouldn't say happily. Obviously, I'm not happy about it. But anybody else, it's just better than losing twice to City. And I feel like they're going to be even more up for it now, especially because of what happened in the Champions League. I feel like because they lost in the Champions League, obviously I don't want to talk too much about City.
Yeah, they're kind of a wounded animal.
It's a United show. I don't want to talk too much about City, but I feel like they're probably going to come into the final thinking, you know what, we want to win a double this year, the domestic double, and we take United before. Here's another opportunity for us to take them again. So that is a big a big factor, a big worry, I guess. But yeah, like you said, I would have rather Chelsea 100%.
Yeah. How important is Erik Ten Hag's team selection for today? Obviously, the team will break whilst we're live, so we'll have an idea of what the team, the setup, the thinking of Ten Hag. But obviously, we're hearing overnight injuries.
Yeah.
It's becoming a major. Is it an issue or a joke? Honestly, you hear the likes of Amrabat are injured, Mason Mount
again
injured again. You know,
Kambrala.
Yeah. I mean, we can use it as an excuse to an extent, but you know,
it's getting to the point where there's like, we've got to start looking in new directions now. Because at first it was like, okay, like every team's got injuries and all people are comparing us to Newcastle, they've had a lot of injuries, Brighton's had a lot of injuries, Liverpool have had a few injuries, whatnot. But now it's like, there's something genuinely wrong now. Like it's to the point where, what is it, 60,
it is a joke,
60
isn't it,
injuries or something like that this season? That's
60 plus injuries.
That's unheard of. I think that our highest was like 37 or something, 34 or something like that before the season. And now we're in the 60s. Now you got to start looking at, well, who's actually looking after these players? What is a team behind the physio? Or I was not to try and draw out the physio, the medical stuff, but there's something wrong.
Clearly doing nothing.
There's something wrong behind the scenes, because we should not be having every single game. I think it's literally been every single game somebody's come off and had an injury, and a lot of times it's behind the scenes. It's not like during the matches. It's in training or it's like preparation for a game and they're getting injured. So something drastic needs to change, especially next season. Something drastic needs to change in terms of how we're preparing for games and how we're training and whatnot, because it's getting ridiculous. It's not like it's like common, it's just ridiculous now.
It's beyond a joke, isn't it? You know, you hear, when I hear the news breaking last night, I'm like, seriously?
Yeah.
You know, and even a player like Mason Mount that we've barely seen anything of, I'm thinking, how is he getting injured?
Again, like,
what is going on, man?
And sometimes it's like, it's recurring, it's just the same injuries again, so it could be a case of, you know, somebody's come back a bit too early, because we are desperate for players to come back. Yeah. I can assume, or I can see why we might bring back a Mason Mount a little bit early, or bring back a Martinez or like a Luke Shaw. All these players that have come back and got injured again, I can understand why we want that to happen. But if that's just going to result in these players going back again, having the same injury again, and potentially it being even worse now because you've triggered the same injury again, it's always going to be worse the second time. It's not worth it. Again, that's another thing for the manager, the coaches, to rethink about how we're bringing back players from injuries.
Yeah. The word on the street, shall we say, social media-wise, obviously I'm mentioning the injury problems that United have at the back.
Yeah.
Big Willie, he's missing as well. It's just easier than saying Kwambala or whatever it is. Big Willie is a lot easier to say, more effective as well. But you look at the back and there's a whisper that Casemiro could partner Maguire. Now, we're talking in the lift on the way up here. And I say about nervousness, you know, that's what I'm feeding off, man.
Dreadful.
I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, if you're Coventry... You know, there's no speed at the back, and Casemiro, in fairness to him, hasn't been in great form. No. You know, we're not digging him out, we're not singling him out, but he hasn't been playing well in the midfield, so to throw him in at the back...
I'd rather Scott McTominay be there.
Yeah, another one that's injured.
Yeah.
So is he back? I don't know. Everyone's injured.
I don't even know. Maybe someone could tell me, like, if put in a chat McTominay's injured or not, but yeah, a Casemiro and Maguire centre-back pairing. You said that to me at the start of the season. We'll be in an FA Cup final with Casemiro and Maguire and Wan-Bissaka left-back. I'll be thinking, what happened? Like, what happened for us to get to this point?
Don't get me wrong. If he's named at centre-back, we have to just go. We have to roll with it, don't we? And we go with it and go, right, this is how we're setting up. But from a Coventry point of view, you know, if you're the manager giving a team talk, you surely look at that as the weak link, won't you? And you go, you get at them. Any opportunity you've got, you know, you run, knock the ball past them, you're in.
Yeah,
because
literally.
We've got no pace. That's the worry today. Yeah. You haven't got a Varane, you know. Yeah. And Casemiro is experienced, but have we ever seen him play centre back?
Never. Maybe somebody else has, but I've never seen him.
Could be a first then.
And like you said, it's the being able to target the play. For example, a striker would know, okay, Casemiro is super, even though he's so experienced in football, he's the least experienced centre-back that we're going to be able to have. Yeah. So, in my opinion, there's a huge difference between playing a DM or in the midfield and playing as a defender. It's more about intelligence. I feel like as a centre-back, it's more about your IQ. What do you know? Can you read the game very well. That's what I think Varane's best attribute is. He's got a strong IQ when it comes to being a centre back. That's why he doesn't have to be so aggressive when he's playing, because he understands the game a lot. Casemiro's never done it, so it's like, is he going to get out of school? Even people.
That's why it's making me more nervous, man. Because I'm thinking about this. I'm like,
he might get schooled in a way where he didn't even realise that could even happen, because he never had to be there. He never had to be in that position, being the last man. How many times have we seen Casemiro lose the ball deep in midfield? He's the last man. That's the
worry.
He's the last man now.
The last 3 or 4 games, you see, he's getting caught in midfield.
Yeah.
If you're the last man and you're playing this position, it's almost like football kind of suicide in a way, isn't it? It's like, how is this going to unravel? And then I was sat there last night and I'm thinking, again, I'm not just digging Casemiro out, but he's not been playing well. And I'm thinking, I would have played Amrabat in that midfield, but now he's obviously injured as well. So we are down to the bare bones. Erik Ten Hag, it is a huge game. I suppose the question is, is this game or the FA Cup, in a sense, enough to save Erik Ten Hag at Manchester United? Can you judge it purely off this game? Or would that be a total overreaction? Let's just say, worst case scenario, United knocked out the FA Cup this evening. Is it like Ten Hag? Do you know what? I've actually got a super chat. If you want to put a super chat in, make sure you like the video. Fergie's Red Nose, what a YouTube name that is, says, I'm Erik Ten Hag in all the way. Despite what happened today, he's had so much to deal with. It's an impossible job for anyone. Needs time. United 3-0 today.
Optimistic.
Positivity here on the United stand. That's what we like, man.
I like it.
A 3-0 win, I would take that. But yeah, it kind of feeds into the question there. Fergie's Red Nose is saying, despite what happens today, that Erik Ten Hag should stay. But picture yourself now, Mords.
Yeah.
It's the Forum in a couple of hours. United have been knocked out. It's all doom and gloom. What kind of way are you looking at that? Then are you thinking, it's not, it's a parting of the ways with Erik Ten Hag?
I said before, I think the FA Cup is his last chance to save his job. The only reason I say that is, league's done. I'm not getting top 4, let's be honest. Probably not going to get top 5.
There's still a chance.
There is, but we've been saying this for so long, and United they're just not giving us any reason to believe that we're going to get there. So I've just kind of stopped hoping, I'll be honest. Like, league's done.
You've given up, lad. You've given up.
I've given up. I'll be honest, I've given up. There's no other competitions we're in. It's just the FA Cup. And I made a point last week about silverware. At the end of the day, as fans, that's what we want. We want silverware. We want to be able to have that moment at the end of the season where we lift a trophy, and that's like, it's like a euphoria. It's like one of them, like, oh, finally the season's done and we have something to celebrate for that season. That's what turns people into fans of clubs, because they're watching. Like, if you're a young kid, you might have seen United lift a trophy and that made you want to be a United fan, or you see United have a great moment in a competition and that's turned you into a fan. So for me, silverware is always important. And if a manager comes into a club and he brings silverware, I think they should be honoured for that. In a sense of, yes, they might not be playing well, but they've done something to benefit the club. They've brought something to the club. Now, performance-wise, yes, terrible. Horrible, worst season I've seen in my life. One of them anyway. One of the worst seasons I've seen in my life, genuinely. But it's one of the ones. But which one do you weight up more? Do you weight up silverware more? Do you appreciate silverware as much as other fans, or are you a fan where you're thinking, you know what? I want to see better performances though. I want to see a set of performances where it looks like we're on our way to winning like a Premier League, or we're on our way in maybe 2-3 years to winning a Champions League or something like that. For me, I like silverware. I want to see silverware at the club. So would it be enough to save him? Yeah, FA Cup 100%. I think if he wins the FA Cup, not just today. Today's not enough. If he wins the FA Cup, he should 100% keep his job. 100%. I don't think it's fair. For him to come and win a Carabao Cup first season, FA Cup final, and then second season win another FA Cup, I think, yeah. Do you think he overachieved in his first season? Oh, 100%. Do you think he wouldn't have expected in his wildest dreams that he'd win a trophy, get to an FA Cup final? Obviously, sadly, we lost that one, but to get that top 4 finish as well, it was, this season, for whatever reason, there has been a drop-off, and it's been awful to watch, hasn't it? Yeah, no, it's been genuinely devastating, and I agree. It was an overachievement last season, and I think that's the problem that a lot of United fans have had, is that we saw that season and we thought we should build on that and we should actually be better than we was last season, when in reality we probably shouldn't. Like we probably shouldn't be aiming higher than third. we probably shouldn't be aiming for a Premier League, but we thought that we should because of what happened last season. And now that we're obviously a lot further down, it's like,
well,
oh,
that's the thing. You ask any Arsenal fan, what would they want? You know, getting knocked out of the Champions League, coming close to winning the Premier League. You know, if they don't win anything, you've not won anything. But I have just been told in my ear that we are joined by Beth live at Wembley. I am so jealous. Beth, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, look at that picture, man. I'm so jealous. We are so jealous, Beth.
Oh, guys, I wish you were here. I wish you were here. But I'm also missing you in the studio as well.
Yeah, we miss you too. Let us. What's the atmosphere? Is it building there? Obviously, it looks a bit like the Etihad at the minute. Lots of empty seats.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be fuller than what it was yesterday for City versus Chelsea. I'm going to say that. But at the moment, I think people are still getting a few beers outside. They're not quite in here yet. So, yeah, we're in here now. It's slowly building up, but I'm sure we'll get there eventually. I'm sure United fans will be very, very loud as they usually are.
Yeah, me and Mordzs were just talking off air early. We're very nervous. I heard you on TalkSport when I was driving to the studio. I think you share that exact same sentiment or feeling at this moment in time.
Yeah, I really do. Honestly, I feel like it's one of them where Man United. I said when I was on TalkSport, I wouldn't bet Man United against anyone now. If we're in this position where there's been no convincing performances. Do I think we'll beat Coventry? Yes, I will. Yes, I do think we will, but I don't think it'll be convincing. And if we lose, like, it won't be a shock. Whereas if Man United of old had lose to Coventry in the FA Cup semi-final, it'd be an absolute, like, there'd be a meltdown. You'd be super shocked, and you would think, you know, United are going to come here and it'll be like we're like 3-4-0. But today, I think most United fans are feeling this is going to be a tough game. Man United have been underperforming all season. The performances haven't been convincing. You can't write Coventry off. But that said, we are United and we are at Wembley. So I do think we will get it over the line, but I don't think it's going to be easy watching. I hope I'm wrong.
You're wrong as well.
Beth, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
So I'm usually optimistic anyway, so I do think we're going to win. But just in the off sense that somehow we do lose, would this be, in your opinion, the lowest moment for this season as a United fan?
Yeah, 100%. Because, you know, you're in an FA Cup semi-final, and I don't want to disrespect Coventry, because if you're in an FA Cup semi-final, you deserve to be there. And, you know, they are a decent team, but they're 8th in the Championship. Like, Man United should be beating them. I know we've got injuries, but it doesn't matter. We're United at Wembley, we should be beating them. So to lose this, like, there's no excuse. Like, you can't use injuries as an excuse. You can't use anything as an excuse. The Man United team should be able to come here and beat Coventry and get it over the line and to get to the final. It's the only saving grace of our season. It's the only silver lining, really. And when you think about, there's been many low points this season. You struggle to really find a high point, to be honest with you. Like, that, the high point so far would obviously be Liverpool in the FA Cup, and you want to keep that momentum going in the FA Cup. So yeah, it would be the lowest point of the season. I said if Ten Hag can't get this one over the line, like, I think that's generally nailing the coffin. He's done, whether we want it or not. I just don't think you can come back from losing to Coventry at Wembley. But we'll see. I hope we will get it. I hope we do get the win. One, because I'm a United fan. Two, I think Ten Hag has to, in order to keep his job still in place.
In the media section there, Beth, have you heard any whispers of potential starters in this Manchester United 11? We were just talking before that possibly Casemiro might be playing centre-back with Maguire, which is making me and Mordzs very nervous here in the studio. How would you feel about a centre-back pairing of Casemiro and Maguire?
The only whispers I'm hearing is, can't believe Mark Goldbridge. Can't believe Garnacho is liking Mark Goldbridge's tweets. I'm joking. I mean, I'm sure we'll bump into I mean, I wonder what. I mean, probably won't be happy that we're here. I mean, see with him anyway, but this is where we're at. But no, in terms of team news, I've heard it is going to be. I've heard, not through anything like, no solid sources or anything like that, but I think it is going to be Casemiro next to Maguire. I mean, you never know. Bruno Fernandes could do a stint. Who knows?
Oh yeah, he did it against Liverpool.
Not wrong.
Yeah, we'll have to go back to.
No, in all seriousness, I do think it is going to be a Casemiro and Maguire at centre back. Romano said that yesterday as well.
Oh God. Well, I believe.
I just hope Casemiro isn't as rash as he has been recently, because that in the box wouldn't be a good mix. But hopefully he can pull it together. Last time Casemiro was here at Wembley, I mean, Oh no, that was the. I mean, in the Carabao Cup, he did a good job, didn't he? He's good in cup competition, so hopefully we can bring that out of him today.
He's a big game player, isn't it? And we certainly need him on his A game today. I've just been told we need to let you go, Beth. Obviously, you're a very, very busy woman, so enjoy the rest of your day. Can we get a score prediction off you quickly before you go?
Yeah, I'm going with 2-1 United. Rasmus goal, Bruno goal. What are you guys going with?
Ooh.
3-0 United.
Yeah, I might go 3-0
being reckless today.
I want to see 2 Rashford goals and a Bruno goal.
Yeah.
You guys are more confident than me, but I hope you're right. Chat, community, Greg, love you all, miss you all, and yeah, we'll be doing some content from here, so stay tuned for that as well.
Spot
See you
on.
later, everyone.
Thank you very much, Beth.
Come on, United. Let's hope we get the win. See you
Come
later.
on, United, indeed. Super chat in from Goldio says, all 3 of you have become great hosts. Keep it up. What a start to the day, honestly. I'm feeling more and more confident here now. Yeah. The old ego, my head's swelling out here. But we go back to kind of team selection. Obviously, we're kind of debating at the moment. Yeah. Beth just mentioned a player in Garnacho. Yeah. Do you think there's an issue there? Well, there clearly was an issue with the manager. Is this one that has now been kind of brushed under the carpet?
Well, I hope so.
You
need your best players available, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I remember we were literally on the forum when he liked Mark's tweet, and I made a point that they're probably still together at that moment. They're probably still on the coach or the whatever.
Yeah, we said that on the forum at the time.
On the coach going back to my, it was a Bournemouth game, right?
Yeah,
going back. So I was kind of thinking, you know what? I hope they just sort it out now. While they're together, and while they've got a few hours on that coach, they've got enough time to speak about it. So yeah, definitely. I hope.
It's such a modern day thing, that, isn't it? Because I remember on the forum at the time, and I'm like working out the time, and I'm like, they'll still be on the coach on the way back now. So you've got Garnacho wherever he's sat, like in a tweet from Goldbridge, which is basically sort of slagging the manager off Ten Hag. You've got Ten Hag probably sat at the front of the bus, on his phone. Then you've got Rashford, who you kind of mentioned as, we'll say, one of the senior players, the big earners. It was obviously kind of a dig at him, or maybe even a Casemiro, whoever it is. Yeah. But you're like, these kids will be on the phones anyway, won't they? This is how they do it. And you think, how did that situation ever arise? How did Garnacho find that tweet? Or does he follow Goldbridge?
I mean, if you're on Twitter, you're going to see...
Because he didn't at him, did he? It was just the name Garnacho was in the tweet or whatever.
I feel like footballers, they see everything, I'll be honest. I feel like they're all on social media, they're all young. He's 19, he's on Twitter, he's on Instagram. He sees everything. He's going to be scrolling on his timeline, seeing what people are saying about the game. Goldbridge is obviously a big name on Twitter, so his tweets come up for everyone anyway. So he probably just saw it. Might not even have even realised it was Goldbridge. He just saw the tweet and just liked it.
Oh, he knew. He knew what he was doing.
Trying to give him a little scapegoat there. But yeah, now back to the whole Garnacho thing. Yeah, one of the points that I made was I'm hoping that Ten Hag has learnt from his lessons with other players, because we spoke about how his man management has been poor this season. With Sancho, even the whole Ronaldo situation. There's been a few things with other players as well where he might not have dealt with it in the best way. So that's why I was kind of hoping that this situation, he gets it over and done with early, gets Garnacho back in trade and gets a bit more energy into him. Because at the end of the day, he's been his star player, or one of his star players, definitely this season. So he needs him to perform well. And he needs him to play for Ten Hag, if that makes sense. Yeah. He needs Garnacho to play for him because it's his job on the line.
It'll be interesting to see team selection today, because if Garnacho was left out, do you think that would be the kind of... I'm not creating a divide or anything, but if he doesn't play today... is Anthony back in contention? If you're looking at a front three, if he did, I think that would be a signal that he'd been dropped. But like you say, you need your best players. So for me, Garnacho would start regardless of what has happened, unless Ten Hag wants to sort of stamp his authority and go, I'm going to make an example of you. But we can't afford, it's an FA Cup semi-final, regardless of whether it's Coventry or what. You want to be in that final, next month.
100%. Ten Hag's got a decision to make. It's either you go with who's played well this season, and if we're being honest, he might even, if we're going off that logic, he might even want to start Garnacho and Anthony. You know what I mean? Because we're talking about who's played well. Rashford doesn't play the greatest, so he probably might.
But he will start.
He will start.
We know he will start.
But you might think, you know what? Garnacho on the left, Antony on the right. We've seen Antony put in good performances. When he came in against Liverpool, he came on the pitch against Liverpool. He was good. You know, he did what he needed to do anyway. So he could go with that logic, or he could, you know, just go with.
You've got an Ahmad who's chomping at the bit.
Go with Ahmad if he. I mean, Ahmad had a great second half. The last game against, I can't remember who last game was against. Was it Bournemouth? Bournemouth, yeah. Great second half. You know, I think he played amazing.
He's done nothing wrong, hasn't
he? He's done nothing wrong.
You know, how many times we sat on a forum, I'm sure everybody in the chat will be the same. It's like, when is he going to get his chance?
Yeah.
Because his cameo against Liverpool, obviously in the FA Cup, a game that, you know, got us into this position on the road to Wembley kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you look at Ahmad and you think, what's the issue?
What did
you know,
he
I remember Wilfried Zaha at United, and every week we were like, what was happening? I know there's a few rumours or whatever to do with David Moyes and that, but we didn't know exactly why, you know, why he wasn't starting. And he never rarely did anything wrong when he come on. And I see slight glimpses of that, you know, at the minute. And, you know, Ahmad, you hearing whispers that he might want to leave the club.
I'd honestly...
I don't want him to, but from his point of view, you would be like, well, you know, what's the crack?
No, 100%. And I think it's more a case of, with Ten Hag, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why I'm doing this, but I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think it's just a case of he is just so scared as to what could, as in like the risk of playing Ahmad. Even though for us, we're kind of thinking, just take that risk, play him and see what happens.
What's the worst that could happen?
He's probably thinking, well, I've got Antony who's £90 million, he should be better. Or I've got Rashford who is Rashford, he should be better.
Creating an issue in itself.
So it's a bit of an issue where I feel like he's just in two minds where it's like, if I take the risk and it doesn't work out, I'm gonna be annoyed with myself for thinking that he could have been better than Antony, who I've seen played well in the past, well, for Ajax anyway. So yeah, I think that's what's going on in Ten Hag's mind.
Voice in the ear says that Casemiro is starting centre back.
Wow.
So breaking news here on the United stand. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Could be. Don't quote me on that. Could be. Stephen Colburn says get Thomas Frank in and win by building from the back. And Jerick, is it? 2011, member of the United Stand Members Club for 6 months, simply says, hi. Another one from Podder says, if we go through, the final will be the perfect showcase of our players' mentality and proper team. Will leave everything on the pitch after last year. We have to be 100%. Yeah. We can't allow... The main worry as a United supporter, I think, watching this team this year has been, we don't have one or two players that are off the game. You know, you can react to situations like that where you can bring on a substitution. When you've got 8 or 9 players, you know, on a consistent basis that aren't, they are not pulling the weight. And Rashford does fall into that category. I've got no doubt that he will start the game today. But if you purely, I've always said the team should be picked off whoever's performing. And at this minute, you struggle to pick a team because they've been that bad. But for you, I know you're a Rashford fan. He would start today for you.
Yeah.
If you're Eric Ten Mordzs, you're the man in the dugout. Would you start Rashford?
He would start. The main reason isn't even based off his performances this season. It's not even based off what he did last season. Rashford's our biggest game player. Let's be honest. He scored the most goals against big teams than any other player on our team. Probably for the last few years. I'll be honest. He scored, especially in the Premier League. We look at, I think he's got at least 6 goals against every Big 6 team. He's a big game player. As much as you don't like him, I know a lot of people obviously don't like him, but he does score in these big games. He scored against City, crazy goal. I don't know where that goal even came from, but he's a player where even if he's not on form, he might pull something out of the bag. He might. And that's where I'm going from. I'm just thinking, you know what, this is a big game. As much as you might think it's Coventry, it's whatever, it's a big game. It's Wembley. Wembley's always a big game. So I want my
Can I add to the nervousness for you? Can I just pile it on?
Yeah.
Casemiro and Maguire, centre-back. Scott McTominay in midfield. Wow. I'm going to have a look at this possible team here. Let's have a look. Is that possible, producer Greg? This is not set in stone. I don't want to be clipped up and... We think that this will be the starting 11 for Manchester United today against Coventry. Onana in net, obviously. Casemiro and Maguire centre-back. You've got Dalot right-back. Wan-Bissaka at left-back. Obviously, it's been such a problem area, this defence, but... God, I'm just looking at Mainoo in centre midfield, Scott McTominay, Bruno Fernandes a little bit further forward, Garnacho on the right, Rashford on the left, Højlund up top. Is that the best? Would you totally agree with that? If that is going to be the starting 11, you have to take into consideration the injuries, though, don't you?
Yeah, I would agree with that based off who's on the bench. I need to know who's on the bench because I feel like once we find out who is actually available, then we will know.
Yeah, because you've got them players from the bench that can have an impact on the game.
Yeah, and even though like there's some players that I'm thinking who's actually injured, who's available, who's not, you know. So from looking at it, it is very, very, it's iffy. It's a bit. I'm not excited for that team. I'll be honest. I'm not excited for that team.
That's why I wanted to add to the
I'll
nervousness.
be very honest. There's so many players playing out of position. I don't even know where in the midfield McTominay's going to play. Everybody who's a fan of McTominay is only a fan of McTominay because of what he does further up the field. He's not doing that today. So
exactly, he's going to be asked to play.
You can't be excited for McTominay today. You can't say yes, McTominay's going to come and score goals. He's not going to be there. He's not going to be a 10. He's not going to play in the box. He's going to have to play with.
He can't
Mainoo.
go missing today.
Exactly, he can't. Which that's his.
It's all right,
thing.
looking lively, running about and stuff. We have seen it so many times before, and I know he scored very, very important goals for United this season. But like you say, he's usually introduced at a time when United are chasing a game.
Yeah.
Now, we've sat on forums so many times, and I say, fair enough. He comes on against Brentford, scores with 2 goals, and you think, well, he deserves to be in the team next week. But you know, I remember at the time saying the McTominay that starts for United then just goes missing. You know, the impact that McTominay has off the bench, I do not have an issue with if that is going to be the midfield today. But again, Amrabat is injured, Mason Mount is injured.
Wow.
Injury FC, that's what we are. Goldio super chat rattles in, says Thomas Frank. This is in response to the other super chat that was there before. And Goldio is saying, I want some of what he's smoking. Yeah, I totally hear you on that one. Acid23 says, can we get a campaign started for Kev and Mordzs to do more shows together? Let's see us end a terrible year with at least a trophy up the Reds. Positivity. I think I've got you the subs here as well. And Mihul Solanki says, we gonna see Casa Maldini. That's a mixture between...
Casa Maldini.
Whoa. That is a bold statement here on the United stand.
I wish.
Hopefully we can mention that later on the old forum.
But if McTominay is playing, why don't they just swap McTominay and Casemiro?
Yeah, substitutions, Bayinda, Amas, Jackson, Ericsson, Forson, Anthony, Ahmad, and Wheatley. So you've got a bit of mixture, really, of
that's the bench
of younger lads. That's what we are hearing here at the United stand.
Wow.
So from them substitutions, suppose you've got listen. In-game management-wise, it depends where we are with this game. Because if, let's say, we're chasing the game.
Yeah.
God forbid, I hope not, man. But if let's just say we're getting beat 1-0, 10 minutes left. What are you doing? Are you looking on that bench that can change the game? Well, we just mentioned Ahmad.
Yeah, 100%.
Ahmad's a game changer.
100%. I mean, he literally changed the game already. He's the reason.
Ericsson's not going to change a game. Possibly if you winning the game and you want to gain control of that midfield, and Ericsson could come on and for half a game, whatever. But we know his legs aren't what they used to be, are they?
I think I completely understand what you're saying, but do you think Ericsson can be a bit of a game changer in the sense of, one, he can't play more than 45 minutes, so I think it's going to have to be...
That's the major
issue. It's going to have to be...
He's
not going to come on before half-time if anyone thinks that, or even before... I don't think he'll come on anywhere before 16, 17 minutes. But when he does come on, I think his final ball is probably one of the best in our team. He probably has one of the... If I'm in the final third or in and around the final third, he's probably one of the best passers in the team. Him and obviously Bruno. So I think...
Yeah, but lately, if he's playing with Casemiro and Fernandes, are two, that are liable for giving the ball away. So, I totally agree with you.
I think Ericsson in and around that position, if we can get players in and around the box, and we are, hopefully not, but we are having to chase a goal in the last 20 minutes, I do think Ericsson can make a difference.
Yeah. I've got some fascinating facts for you. Do you want to hear one?
Yeah, no.
Man United have won 13 of their last 15 meetings with Coventry in all competitions. This is the first game between the sides since September 2007, with the Sky Blues winning 2-0 at Old Trafford in the League Cup. Just had to get that little negative spin at the start. So I'm reading it and I'm like, we've won 13 of the last 15. And then they just knocked me back down with, they actually won the last, I remember that League Cup game actually, 2007. I will bring more fascinating facts to you, Mordzs, because I am a fountain of knowledge. But another player who was on the goal trail, goals have dried up recently, and strikers obviously, this is what it's all about. Rasmus Højlund. Obviously, he's going to start because it's basically the only striker we've got in this.
He is the only striker.
Even if he's like 20% fit, he's in there. What's the issue with Højlund at the minute?
It's difficult.
And we're talking about what was it? Was it 7 in 6 he scored before the injury? Got injured? Was it before the Manchester derby? And you know, it was a major blow. And I know it's dropped off. He's coming back from injury, but you know, strikers do kind of feed off goals. That's the longer it goes on, isn't it?
Yeah.
People will write the stories, people will sort of question him. But I think personally, I seen one instance, it was Bournemouth, the last game, where Rashford had an opportunity to square it. Højlund is still making these runs. And it seems that the wingers again are starting to like forget that he plays for United. You know, he's almost invisible to him, or to them.
No, 100%. I think there's two things. I think one, like you said, is a case of him not getting service. And we've been saying this all season. Literally, he's not getting enough service.
There was an instance against Bournemouth where Rashford could have squared. He hit the side netting. He shouldn't have been shooting from that angle.
I remember that.
And when I watched it back, Højlund's made that run to the front post and he's screaming for it. And I'm thinking, you know, top teams, you know, pains me to say it, but a Manchester City or someone where they walk the ball in, you know, you imagine a Guardiola, I was going to say pulling his hair out, he ain't got any hair, but he'd be going absolutely mental, you know, things like that.
Literally, it reminds me of when Van Persie came to United, and I remember...
What a player.
I wasn't there, obviously, but I think one of the players told a story about how Fergie was in the dressing room saying, look, I don't care how good you are, this is the guy that's going to win us a league. So whoever you think you was before, make sure you get the ball to him because he's going to score us the goals that are going to win us the league. Whatever we were playing before, that was great, and it might have won us the league in the past. But for this season, if we want to win, if we want to win these games, get the ball to Van Persie and he's going to score us the goals. And that's what they did. That's what they did, and that's how we won the league eventually. Now, I'm not saying Højlund's going to be that right now. It's obviously a big expectation of him. But I think it's similar, though. It's a similar thing where if we can have that mentality of this is our goal scorer now. We've had a lot of goal scorers in the past, a lot, but there's been so many different situations where it's like, for example, Ronaldo, everyone blamed him because it was like the system's changed for Ronaldo and he might get goals, but we're not going to win games. Or someone like Martial be a striker, but then he'll get injured, or Cavani might not be able to play every single game. But now we've got a striker that's going to, hopefully anyway, he's going to be there every single game. The system is suited to him. He's a good player. He's going to play, I say the system, but the way we want to play anyway, he's able to play like that. And like I said, he's young. He's got a lot of talent. We should be trying to help him as much as possible. The wingers anyway should be trying to facilitate him as much as possible because he could be the reason why we win a lot of these games because his goals are going to be a big factor in it. So I feel like you said, these players, whether it's Rashford or
Have you seen that recently though? You know, do you feel that he's not getting the service, or because there's some people that are critical of Rasmus Højlund and you know, but it's basically just based on goals, isn't it?
Yeah.
When he was in that rich vein of form, scoring goals, there was obviously no questions because he's scoring goals. But
I do think that there is definitely more that the other attacking players could do. But
he's still making the runs.
But I also do think that Højlund could actually. There's a lot for him to improve on, though. Let's not act like he's just perfect. There's a lot that Højlund can do to improve. Like he doesn't necessarily make a lot of goals for himself. When you look at the top strikers, hold-up play. When you look at the top strikers in the league, the ones that are actually scoring goals, they make a lot of their goals themselves. They create their own chances. They might be a half chance and they're still scoring because they've just got that you know, amazing finishing or whatnot. I do think that's something that Højlund can work on, and like I said, he's young, so he definitely has a lot of time to do it. So it is on both sides. Yes, he could get the ball more, but on the other side, I do think that he could definitely improve in a lot of aspects to get more goals.
Yeah, we've got another super chat. I got the juice. I haven't. That's the name of the person that's thrown it in. Pure positivity, this one. Ten Hag is sacking himself with this lineup.
What can he do? He can't play himself.
Unless you go down that route of, right, let's play the kids. But he's not going to do that. It's an FA Cup semi-final.
I mean, Klopp did it.
Yeah.
What competition was it again? I think it was the
Carabao Cup.
He played the kids against, is it Chelsea?
It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked. You know, so I mean, you could use that argument. I don't know. It's hypothetical.
I tell you what we'll do then. We'll get producer Greg to throw a poll in. I was supposed to do this at the start, but will Man United win? Obviously, we're getting the team news, the lineup. That's what we're discussing at the minute. Let's see how many people are actually confident. We'll get that poll up and we'll run it. Quinn Star says, if Goldbridge ever leaves and retires, you need to take over the reins, Kev. You are the best presenter of United Stand other than Mark Quinstar. I think that's like my burner account there. Fair play, that's me mum there. Give me a good big up there. But loads of people in the chat, let me know, are you positive for this one? The poll is now running. Who will win? So you've got two choices, Manchester United or Coventry. I think I'm feeling another fascinating fact about today. Are you ready for it, Mordzs, or what? You look like a man who is ready for it. This is the first FA Cup meeting between Coventry and Manchester United since the fourth round in 1986-87, with the Sky Blues winning 1-0 en route to winning the trophy. Before that, they met in 1984-85, fourth round, with the Red Devils winning 2-1 en route to winning the trophy.
Oh, 1986, I was not born. Yeah,
I was knocking about. I was an 80s, I am an 80s kid actually. Keep the super chats coming in. Keir Bar says, Ahmad hard done by Eric Ten Hag once again. And SK says his goals were mostly his own goals. Rasmus improves if Rashi and the rest improve the service. Are the players about it? I'd ready the P45s. I thought we're supposed to be the positivity stand there. This is the build-up to a massive game, and we've got people saying that Eric Ten Hag is sacking himself. The votes are flying in now. We'll run that for a bit, and I think it is actually now time for, is it ones to watch?
Yeah.
It's time for our ones to watch.
Place to watch.
And I'll let you go first, Mordzs. Let me just get it on here so I know. Shortly, we are going to be talking as well. I told you to have a think about your favourite FA Cup memory. So if the chat wants to throw them in there, obviously I'll have a look through that. But ones to watch, the first of two, Mordzs has gone with a player that we've spoken about, Marcus Rashford.
Yep.
Tell me why. Why is he a one to watch?
They are going to hate me for this.
Yeah. Chat's popping off, man. Get Mordzs out of here.
I mean, I literally spoke about it before. The exact same thing I said before. I think it's just a big game, and I just want my big game players to turn up. Highland, we don't know what he's like in a big game, let's be honest. The game against Liverpool, he kind of got shut out of that game. And yeah, so as much as I want other players to score and to also do well, maybe I'm just delusional, but I want the players that I know I've seen score in these big games. I think Rashford scored against, was it Arsenal? The Arsenal game this season as well, at Emirates. He's done it before. He could do it again, and that's literally the reason why I think Rashford's going to score. I think he's going to score 2 as well.
Wow.
I think he's going to score 2.
Wow. Yep. The Marcus Rashford, it is a tough one because I think purely off what I've seen in the past, if you were talking about picking your strongest team that's actually been performing, I personally don't think Rashford would be in there. I think we know, obviously, he will be, but there's just something, I don't know whether it's an issue between the player and manager or what, but you must admit, even though as a Rashford fan recently...
No, you've been terrible.
Body language, again, I'm not a body language expert, but sometimes he gives off the vibe of somebody who's
doesn't want to be
frustrated, and listen, he's quick enough to tell us he's a Manchester lad, he loves the club and that, I suppose. But what better theatre to be playing that out today than at Wembley?
It's like you just said, it's these kind of moments, these kind of games, which is how you win back fans. He lost a lot of, I don't say he lost a lot of fans, but I see a lot of United fans are kind of...
Are you talking on the pitch, sign, never mind social media and all that nonsense?
Yeah, literally. So these are the kind of games where you can win back everyone's hearts. You can say, you know what, you might have had a terrible season, But if he comes up and he puts in an amazing performance, scores a couple goals, and he celebrates with the fans, and he lets everyone know, look, I'm still, you know, the guy you remember me to be last season. A lot of fans will probably change their minds about him. So it's down to him. It's all a mentality thing. It's all about his confidence. He has to just come in today and just have a completely new a new mindset, and, you know, go out and give 110% today. No walking, no nothing, just 110%.
Totally agree. You should be at Wembley today giving that team talk, Mordzs. I'm telling you. We've got Nesaruddin Shah. Sorry if I got your name wrong, but a super chat has come in and said, must be my burner account here again. Love you both presenting. Thank you. I think Klopp could play the kids because he already has a set system. Easy for the kids to slot into the system. United don't have this system yet. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah. It's kind of taught at a younger, you know, when you go into a team, Manchester City are like that as well. They could put a 15-year-old kid from the academy into that team, and it is that set system. It's a great super chat. That Thomas McArdle says Rashford playing against his level. Oh, God. Should I have read that one out? But listen, it is a democracy here on the United Stand, the super chat. I always say, whatever you put there, I will read it. It's a bit like Anchorman, you know, at the end where he says, go San Diego or whatever. Your second one, is this a typing error that I am reading here? Because I think you're about to blow my mind. You've been asked for your ones to watch. Yeah. You've said Marcus Rashford, fair enough. You backed it up with, you know, a little argument there. Yeah. Harry Maguire.
Oh, yeah.
This is not a typing issue.
It's not a typing error, 100%. Look, I could have went with them Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo's going to have a great game anyway. I have complete confidence in him regardless. And for me, when it comes to the fullbacks, it's more dependent on who they're coming up against. I genuinely don't know. I've done a bit of research into Coventry, but I can't tell you I've watched 25 games of their wingers. I don't know. So in my opinion, the reason why I've said...
It's kind of the unknown, isn't it?
Like, we're kind of just going to have to wait and see. So the reason why I said Maguire is because he's next to Casemiro. If he was next to Varane or Martinez or another bit, even Lindelof, I would have been like, you know what, he's not.
You might have Casemiro talking Maguire through the game.
Yeah,
he might give a masterclass today.
Maybe, but I feel like this is a big game for Maguire. I think he's going to have to be definitely commanding that back line. He's the most, in terms of being a defender, he's the most experienced in that back line. So yeah, I think he's got a lot of work cut on from today. He's going to have to show like his real leadership skills today.
Well, he is, because he's going to have Casemiro next to him as well, isn't
he?
He's
going to do a lot of coaching whilst he's playing.
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't a typing error. Mordzs did go with Harry Maguire as the one to watch. Listen, we don't know what is going to happen in this game, but if Harry Maguire should pop up with a goal, we can all hail this man, Mordzs. My two to watch. Casemiro was my first one. Purely based on the...
What? You can't... Oh, wait, so Maguire's a... Okay, cool.
No. Casemiro. I've gone with that one because we'd heard the whispers coming to the studio that he might be playing centre-back. It's becoming more evident now that is the case, him and Maguire. I just think it's the unknown, isn't it? Yeah. I've never seen him play there. I don't know how this one's going to pan out because he's not been great for United in the midfield. Yeah. He basically, as we said, at the risk of repeating myself, yes, he gives the ball away in that midfield area, but you've got a back four that they can back it up. When you're last man, a Casemiro, this is where the kind of panic and worry comes in. Because, listen, he could have the game of his life today. Yeah, he is a very, very experienced player. That's what I am hoping from him. It could be a position.
We saw Jordan Henderson going into the centre-back for a lot against Liverpool. Was it last season? Not last season. I think it was like a couple of seasons ago when they came fourth, or they just about got top four when Van Dijk got injured. So you never know. Some of these midfielders can definitely slot into that position and do.
He's going to have to do the job, innit? And we'd be hoping that a lot of this football's played in their half of the pitch.
Yeah. So
I'm asking for a lot here. When have we ever seen that this season? We get dominated possessionally. We'll concede 30 to 40 shots. You know, that's where we are with Man United at the minute. My second one was our player to watch, Kobbie Mainoo. Yeah. Wow. I've got to say it again, but what a 100%. Breakthrough season this has been. I would say probably the reason United didn't dip into a lot of us were kind of like, why has he not got a midfielder? Yes, he brought in Amrabat, but Mainoo has just been, he's been the shining light this season without a shadow of a doubt. Hoyland had them, you know, the goals that he scored and that brilliant. Garnacho, I feel to an extent now is more of a first team kind of player, you know, not just necessarily an impact player, which is something he had to get away from.
Yeah.
But Kobe Mainoo, the positivity, the fact is he just turned 19 now, or is he still 18?
His birthday was yesterday or something.
Happy birthday, Kobe lad, honestly. But yeah, I love coming on here and talking about Kobe Mainoo.
Yeah.
You know, obviously Manchester lad, come through the academy. That's the one thing I cling on to, because I look at a player like him and I think in the future Pep Guardiola was sniffing around him at one stage, and I just hold on to that fact that he says, you know, he loves, you know, you hear the Garnacho rumours that, you know, he wants to end up at Real Madrid and that, and you think, you know,
they're not taking him.
Longer down the line you can see stuff like that happening. But yeah, have you got anything you want to say on Mainoo?
Yeah, Mainoo's been my player of the season. You know, the conversations are coming up now about who the Man United player of the season is going to be. A lot of people say Dalot, rightfully so. He's been very consistent this season. He's played a lot of games. The only other players that have really been that consistent has been Garnacho. But in my opinion, the player of the season should be the player who's had the biggest impact on the team. I think if Mainoo hadn't have been in this team, like you said, we're dipping into what's it?
The injury was unlucky for Mainoo, because there is no doubt in my mind that Ten Hag's plan this season was to put Mainoo straight into that team. Obviously, he gets injured pre-season,
early,
but he's just hit the ground running, hasn't he?
It didn't even take a little. You know, like when players ease into the first team, it's like a few bad games, a few bad touches. Mainoo was just ready from the get-go, from the first game, and it wasn't even like he had a few easy games to warm up in. You know, a lot of players, they played like a few Carabao Cup games, FA Cup games. He was just straight in Anfield, St James Park, Goodison Park, Bayern Munich, away at Galatasaray. He was playing big games from the start, and it was just easy for him. And yes, I understand we don't want to put too much pressure on him, but I don't think he's a player that gets caught up by pressure. I think he's someone like he thrives off it. To him, it's like, you know what, I don't even see that. I'm just going to do what I need to do regardless, and you know, it's working for him. So for me, regardless of what happens at the end of the season, Mainoo's been my player of the season regardless.
Yeah. I think one of the beautiful things, shall we say, from this season, there's not many kind of good points that we've had to talk about. Mainoo is definitely one of them, and obviously when he wasn't included in the England squad going back, you know, and Gareth Southgate was kind of coming out with comments, you know, that he's not played that much football. He wanted to see more of him. Then on the Sunday, we played Liverpool. Absolute masterclass from Mainoo. Obviously Southgate then must have thought, oh shit, you know, I'm going to have to ring you. You're called up, you know. He was insane.
And then he got
against
man of the match.
Liverpool. And
he got man of the match for England, so it's like, well, another big game, debut, man of the match. The pressure doesn't get to him.
Was that against Belgium as well? Was that his full debut, wasn't it?
I think it was a Belgium.
He had a substitution appearance, but then his first actual start, man of the match. And that's what depends what you think about international football, but you would say that is that, you know, it's a high level, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
100%.
He doesn't look fazed by it. We've got more super chats. Thank you very much to everybody who is participating in that. Thomas McArdle says Rashford playing. I've read it again. Sorry, not that one. Magnus says we need a new Zlatan. We've got Højlund, man. We just need to. Players need to get their heads up and give him the goddamn ball. That's what they need to do. JSD says all Rashford has ever shown is inconsistency. And if we want to be consistently good team, then we need to get rid of inconsistent players. JSD is not messing about there. Straight in, got up on the wrong side of the bed here on Sunday and is just basically looking for an argument with anyone. Andy Wilson says if Rashi wore player cam, it would be like watching CCTV. Chanio says, if we win today, do we secure Europa League? I actually seen Mark clearing something up on this stream the other day. I think they've actually, I don't want to get into this debate. Mark spent about 20 minutes arguing with himself whether an FA Cup kind of place gets, you know, Europa League. It depends. Yeah, into the Europa League. I think.
But it's not today though. It's to win the FA Cup.
Yeah, but I think they've scrapped it anyway. I'm sure Mark wasted 20 minutes of his life on the stream. But yeah, I'm sure he did. I think we've cleared that one up. Cody says, "Let's go United." Rasmus, love that. And Melvin Gill Absolutely nothing to say there, just a blank super chat. But
just
thank
money.
you. Yeah, that's what.
It's a donation.
That's what we do like. Another fascinating fact about today's game, Mordzs. You're loving these, aren't you?
Yeah,
I can tell. Man United are playing in their 32nd FA Cup semi-final. 2 more than any other side. Wow. Victory would see them reach the final of the competition for a record 22nd time. Wow. Where have I gone there? We're currently tied with Arsenal on 21. What more motivation do you need?
I don't know. How many FA Cups have we won? I know Arsenal have, I think, like 14. How many do we have? Maybe someone could put in the chat.
Yeah. Feel free to throw that in.
11.
11?
11.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So we've had the team news. Obviously, if you want to put a super chat in, we are coming towards the end of the show, but we've done our ones to watch. It wasn't a typing error. Mordzs has gone with Harry Maguire, so make sure you keep your eyes peeled in this game for Harry Maguire. You definitely set yourself up for this one.
Did you see the corner coming in? Harry Maguire, big head on it.
Yeah.
Fridge.
That's a pipe dream, that's what I'm telling you, man. We'll go with... Let me see the poll. We'll go with the score prediction, I think, as well. Let's have a look. You get that poll up there, Mordzs, is it?
Yeah, it's 79% United and 21% Coventry.
Oh, there we go. So there is pure positivity floating about. There's nervousness as well, but in terms of what United have got to do today, we know it's possibly a Manchester derby that's set up, you know, in the final. And that it's in our hands, our own destiny. It reminds me quite similar to last season. That's why I thought we didn't really battle that much in the final. Yeah. I did sense that we could have got at City a bit more. And it really annoys me when you see a team come off a pitch, you know, that old saying, innit, you leave everything on the pitch. If you're simply not good enough, then fair enough. The final against City last season, obviously we know what they went on to do. It still pains me to talk about it.
I feel like the final last year, we just got hit so off guard early in the game, that goal.
The goals were pathetic.
I think it was the Gundogan one or the Bernardo Silva?
Scored both of them, didn't he?
Yeah, that long range, but I think it was De Gea in net as well.
What was the quickest cup final goal ever, I think? Or?
Probably. I remember I was thinking,
I'd not even knocked the head off my pint, and I'm looking at that screen in the Bishop's Blaze where I watched it, and I was like, oh, for God's sake, you know, if you're going to give yourself any chance in a game like this, you know, it's certainly stay in the game. And then it was just like bang, and I'm like, oh, here we go.
And I had to catch up to City.
Yeah. And then to get the goal, obviously Bruno, the penalty, which was a bit dubious or whatever. But would you? What are we going with the score prediction today, Dan?
Score predictions. I think before we said 3-0, I just think we're going to score a few goals. I think that's what I'm looking for today. I think we're going to score at least. Let me not say at least, actually. I think we're going to score 2-3 goals. I'm going to say 3 goals.
You said you were nervous in the lift. Where's this come from now?
I'm nervous, but I'm a United fan, though. I love that. My bias is just all over the place. I just always think we're going to do the best. I think we're going to score 3 goals. The defence is the worry.
Are you worried now?
The defence.
It's gone from being
the defence is where I'm nervous
to a 3-0 win.
That's where the nervousness comes from. If there is any, that's where the nervousness. It definitely comes from the defence. However, I do think that we can hold them out, and I'm still going to say 3-0.
3-0 today, yeah.
I'm still going to say 3-0.
Yeah, Casemiro. Let me just see. Murphy says, would love to see Wheatley get some minutes. Being amazing for the under-18s. That is dead true, that. But again, in-game management-wise, this is a huge game. You know, regardless. I don't want to pay any disrespect to talking down about Coventry, but if we're going to have it right, at the risk of sounding like Gary Neville, we're Manchester United, you know, and all that. We are United, and player for player, if we turn up and go out there, we've got the game plan, we should be good enough to beat them. Yeah. They are a division lower. I know I'm setting myself up that, you know, somebody's going to clip that up and come back at me later on, but hopefully we can win. Lee Burnham says, from Porno Kev to Stato Kev. That is me, man. I'm bringing you all. We've had team news. I'm giving you fascinating facts about the FA Cup. It is all popping off here. And Sia says, Kev, can you sing the Casemiro song? Might end with that one. Keep that one just before we cut to, obviously, Mark Goldbridge's watch along. Loads of people in the chat. Great to have you here. It really is. Let me have a look. Yeah, there's lots of positivity flowing. I like that.
Yeah.
I think we'll win today.
Yeah.
I've actually gone for 3-0.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm doing exactly what you did. I've come here feeling nervous. I get that anyway, but yeah, we should be looking and thinking, it's Coventry.
Yeah.
You know, man for man, surely.
We've had a good week to rest.
Even with Casemiro at centre back.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Like you said, I think it's a case of if we lose, it's like we lost it. Like how have we given them the chance to even get into these kind of games? And again, I know it sounds bad that we're putting this in Coventry. Probably Coventry fans watching this thinking we're not that bad, you know. Like,
yeah.
We're actually decent, but if we do lose this game, it's because we're giving it.
I think the fact when I was driving in here, I was listening to like a radio station. And they were talking to Coventry fans, and they're actually like really confident.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm sat there thinking, God, this is how far we've fallen. Yeah. I know everybody gets giddy. You know, it's a semi-final, and it's first time in a long time that Coventry have been in this position. But you can tell they're up for it, and they've got a point because they'll be looking at us and thinking, well, you know, you don't know what you're going to get with this lot. If we catch them today and get at them, which United don't like, then they will be able. They'll create opportunities, won't they? I did ask you earlier, if you want to throw it in the chat as well, I was talking about FA Cup memories, weren't we, off air?
Yeah.
I asked you, have a think, have you had a think? Favourite FA Cup memory regarding Manchester United?
Other than the last one, honestly, when I say this Liverpool one is genuinely up there, it's probably one of my top 3 favourite moments. I know people are going to say it's recent, but it's just about feeling. In my opinion, that feeling I had, I've not had that feeling for a very long time as a United fan, so that's definitely one of them. But
the Liverpool match?
The Liverpool one, that's definitely up there now. But the other one I was going to say was Lingard's goal in the FA Cup final.
Was that match?
That was a very, very, very good moment. It was because it was such a good goal as well. And I think that was the time where like Lingard was kind
just behind the goal for that.
Yeah, Lingard was just kind of bubbling up, and I feel like he was I'd say that's probably Lingard's prime. He was scoring a lot of finals, a lot of big goals for us, and I think was that Van Gaal times? Van Gaal? Van Gaal. Around 2015 maybe around that time. So yeah, that was. Is
that where Alan Pardew made himself look like a tip when he was dancing? Did we got. Was Smalling sent off in that? I'm sure we were down to 10 men.
I remember that game, you know. Maybe.
I was at it and I can't even remember it. I tell you one thing actually, I do remember it at half time. I went for a drink and I come back out where my seat was, tripped over the main step, rolled down about 20 steps. And everybody cheered, and then I just had to get up and go, hey! I'd like to just go and find my seat, but that's what happens when Kev goes to the football. That's why I don't go anymore. It's let's have a look.
So what's your FA Cup favourite memory?
Oh, my favourite FA Cup memory. So you're going with the Lingard one. Even though me and you, Mordzs, we look of a similar age, we're not. We're total different eras, man. I'm from the 80s, but 99. FA Cup semi-final against Arsenal.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you're watching this and you've never seen that game, you won't have time to watch it now. But if you can ever watch that game back, it literally had everything.
Yeah.
Beckham opens up the scoring, Arsenal equalise, and then in the dying minutes, literally the last kick of the game, Arsenal get a penalty.
Yeah.
Dennis Bergkamp steps up, Peter Schmeichel saves it. I don't think Bergkamp ever took a penalty after that again. And then the rest is history. You move into extra time. I even forgot Roy Keane gets sent off.
Yeah.
And then, Vieira gives Giggsy the ball.
And he just absolutely
tears everybody apart. And one of the most
iconic
mental finishes you'll ever see.
Yeah.
And then you had to be subjected to what do you call it? Ryan Giggs' chest hair, didn't he? Well, he swung his top around his hair at Villa Park. They were the days, and that's how semi-finals should be. They shouldn't be at Wembley, should be at them old grounds. But I've just been told that Mr. Goldbridge is now live, so he will. Me and Mordzs have given our positivity. It's time for Mark to take you through the game. Obviously, he'll talk a bit more in depth, but I hope you have enjoyed the show. It's been great. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for fingering the like button as well. That's absolutely sensational. I've not even looked at the likes actually to see what we've got, but
the Casemiro song.
Oh yeah, and we will end with the Casemiro song. So it's Casemiro. He's our Brazilian hero in the red and the white. He's gonna be strong and he's gonna be fast and he's gonna make Coventry look shite. Yeah, man. Get over now to Mark's stream. We'll be back with the forum after, hopefully, discussing a Manchester United win. Mordzs, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. You've been watching the biggest Man United fan channel in the land. This was the United Stand. See you later.